Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. Imagine waking up one morning and seeing the NFL world completely shaken. That is exactly what seems to be happening with the latest whispers about a historic trade between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings. The rumor mill has been buzzing nonstop, and fans are losing their minds trying to piece together what could possibly be the motive behind such a move. If true, the Eagles, under the strategic mind of Howie Roseman, may have pulled off a maneuver that could redefine the balance of power in the league. The chatter suggests that Justin Jamal Jefferson, the incredibly talented wide receiver who has dazzled crowds with his electrifying plays, might be heading to Philadelphia. The very thought sends shockwaves through every corner of the NFL, from analysts to casual fans. Because Jefferson has been synonymous with the Vikings' explosive offense for years, the deal, still unconfirmed, is being described as historic, and insiders hint that it might involve multiple draft picks or a combination of players that could reshape both teams' trajectories. Everyone is speculating whether this is a long-term strategy by Roseman to cement the Eagles' dominance or a risky gamble that could backfire spectacularly if Jefferson fails to adapt to a new system. Rumors like these don't happen overnight. The NFL ecosystem is so interconnected that any whisper about a superstar moving teams sends immediate ripples through social media, sports networks, and locker rooms alike. Sources suggest that discussions may have been ongoing behind closed doors for months, with scouts, coaches, and front office executives weighing the potential gains and losses for the Eagles. Acquiring a receiver of Jefferson's caliber would signal an aggressive push to enhance their offensive arsenal, complementing their already dynamic lineup. Analysts are theorizing endlessly about how his presence could change the offensive playbook, whether the quarterback will adjust to his style, and how defenses across the league will have to rethink their game plans. Meanwhile, Vikings fans are caught in a wave of uncertainty and frustration, fearing that the team might be entering a rebuilding phase despite the talent they already have. If Jefferson does end up leaving, it would mark the end of an era in Minnesota, a city that has celebrated his highlight reel catches and his unwavering commitment to the field. The human element of such a trade cannot be ignored, as the locker room dynamics, team morale, and fan engagement are all intertwined in ways that statistics alone cannot capture. Every rumor carries with it a shadow of doubt, and this one is no different. Some insiders are suggesting that Jefferson's move to the Eagles could be motivated by a combination of contract negotiations, a desire for a fresh start, and the lure of a championship contending team. The speculation has triggered debates across sports podcasts, Twitter threads, and late-night sports shows, with experts dissecting every possible angle of the potential deal. There are whispers that this trade could involve multiple draft selections, highlighting the enormous value attributed to Jefferson's talent and marketability. The narrative paints Roseman as a cunning operator, someone willing to take calculated risks to position the Eagles at the forefront of the league. Yet, critics argue that no player, no matter how talented, guarantees success. And integrating a superstar into a new system midstream is never straightforward. Every play, every formation, and every snap will suddenly be scrutinized under a magnifying glass, with fans eager to see whether Jefferson can elevate the Eagles' game or if the move might create unforeseen challenges. The suspense is palpable, with every rumor fueling the fire of speculation that now engulfs the league. The implications extend far beyond the teams directly involved. A trade of this magnitude could shift the balance of power within the NFC, impacting playoff projections, rivalries, and even future draft strategies for multiple franchises. Analysts are suggesting that teams might need to reevaluate their defensive approaches, as Jefferson's ability to create separation and make contested catches could force a wave of tactical adjustments. Meanwhile, the narrative surrounding the Eagles could shift from a strong contender to a team that has just made a statement of intent, signaling that they are willing to gamble everything on acquiring top-tier talent. The psychological impact on both rosters is equally significant, with Vikings players potentially feeling a sense of loss or urgency, while Eagles players might see an opportunity to elevate their own performance to match Jefferson's elite level. Every training session, every team meeting, and every game now carries an added layer of intrigue, as fans and commentators alike speculate on how this potential blockbuster will reshape the league's storylines. The rumor alone has already changed the conversation, proving that in professional football, speculation can be as impactful as actual results. Insiders hint that the mechanics of such a trade would require careful negotiation, balancing salaries, contracts, and long-term implications for both franchises. The financial intricacies alone could be enough to make some deals stall. Yet the persistent rumor suggests that both front offices are motivated to find a mutually beneficial agreement. For Philadelphia, acquiring Jefferson is not just about his athleticism, but also about the marketing potential, fan excitement, and long-term franchise branding. Imagine the stadium eruptions, jersey sales, and social media frenzy that would accompany the announcement. For Minnesota, parting with a homegrown superstar could be painful, yet it might offer a chance to stockpile draft capital or strategically restructure their roster for sustained success. The layers of speculation are nearly endless, with analysts and fans alike attempting to piece together a puzzle that might only be fully revealed months from now. Every hypothetical scenario paints a picture of a league in flux, with power dynamics shifting and legacies hanging in the balance. The rumor's intensity speaks to the deep emotional investment fans have in their teams, and the athletes who represent them on the grand stage of the NFL. Finally, the cultural impact cannot be ignored. A trade of this magnitude would dominate headlines not only for weeks but potentially for seasons, influencing fan loyalty, fantasy football leagues, and national sports narratives. Jefferson's potential move to the Eagles would be a story that transcends wins and losses, touching on themes of ambition, strategy, and the human side of professional sports. Media coverage would dissect every angle, from interviews to social media reactions, turning speculation into a continuous cycle of commentary and debate. The rumor, whether it materializes or not, has already cemented itself as a defining talking point of the NFL offseason. Fans are imagining highlight reels, impossible catches, and game-changing moments, while analysts try to quantify the impact using every metric available. The tension between hope and skepticism fuels the conversation, making this one of the most electrifying topics in modern football discourse. As whispers continue to circulate, the league watches, waits, and wonders if history is indeed about to be written in real time, with ROSEMAN potentially pulling off a coup that could echo for years to come. If the whispers about Justin Jefferson joining the Eagles are true, the ripple effects across the NFL would be immediate and profound. Analysts are speculating that defensive coordinators will now have to completely rethink their game plans when facing Philadelphia. Jefferson's ability to change a game in a single play is legendary, and pairing him with the Eagles' offensive weapons could create a nightmare scenario for opponents. Fans are already imagining highlight reel moments, contested catches in the end zone, and sideline celebrations that could dominate highlight reels for months. The Eagles' opponents would have to allocate extra coverage, potentially leaving other offensive threats open, and the coaching staff would need to devise innovative formations to fully exploit Jefferson's talents. Meanwhile, speculation is running rampant about how Jefferson himself would adapt to a new quarterback, a new system, and a different city culture. The human aspect of this move cannot be understated. Moving from a familiar environment where he thrived into a high-pressure, high-expectation situation requires not only physical skill but mental resilience. Every fan, commentator, and rival team is now asking the same questions. Will Jefferson replicate his dominance? Will the Eagles' chemistry withstand this major addition? And how will the Vikings react to losing a player of such monumental impact? The potential trade also reignites one of the league's oldest and most intense conversations, the balance between talent acquisition and long-term strategy. ROSEMAN, if he indeed orchestrates this move, would be cementing his reputation as one of the most daring executives in football history. Insiders suggest that pulling off a trade of this scale requires foresight, negotiation mastery, and an acute understanding of timing. Some critics, however, argue that no front office move can fully predict how a superstar integrates with an existing system, pointing to past examples where high-profile acquisitions failed to deliver the expected results. Why? Speculation suggests that ROSEMAN is not one to shy away from risk, and the very rumor of Jefferson potentially joining the Eagles indicates a willingness to gamble for transformative success. For the Vikings, the scenario raises questions about succession planning, draft strategy, and rebuilding while maintaining competitiveness. Could this lead to a chain reaction of trades across the league, with multiple teams adjusting their rosters to counterbalance the power shift? Fans and analysts are already imagining a domino effect, with the NFC suddenly more unpredictable, rivalries heightened, and playoff projections completely upended. Another layer of speculation involves the psychological and emotional dimensions of such a trade. Jefferson has been a cornerstone of the Vikings' identity, celebrated not only for his on-field performances, but also for his presence in the locker room and community engagement. His departure, should it occur, could leave a void that extends beyond statistics, affecting team morale and fan loyalty. Conversely, the Eagles' locker room would experience an injection of energy and expectation, as players adjust to a teammate whose reputation precedes him and whose skills demand attention. Analysts are discussing how veteran leadership within Philadelphia might respond to Jefferson's arrival, whether mentoring or competition will dominate, and how the team culture will evolve under the pressure of elevated expectations. Social media speculation has already amplified these dynamics, with fan reactions ranging from ecstatic anticipation to cautious skepticism. The narrative becomes a story of human adaptation and resilience, not just athletic prowess, as everyone from coaching staff to fans wonders how personalities, egos, and team chemistry will align in this hypothetical blockbuster scenario. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. From a tactical standpoint, Jefferson's rumored move could redefine offensive philosophies across the NFC. Teams may need to reconsider their defensive priorities, shifting personnel to counteract the speed, agility, and route-running brilliance he brings. Analysts are speculating about possible new formations, creative utilization of motion, and expanded playbooks to leverage Jefferson's unique capabilities. Meanwhile, the quarterback situation in Philadelphia becomes a focal point, as success hinges not only on talent but timing, anticipation, and chemistry. The ripple effect could extend to other teams' drafting strategies, free agent acquisitions, and even coaching hires, as everyone seeks to respond to a seismic shift in offensive firepower. The sheer magnitude of this speculation highlights how a single potential trade can cascade into countless strategic considerations league-wide. Fans are imagining scenarios where Jefferson stretches the field, creates mismatches, and becomes the centerpiece of a high-octane offense, transforming both media narratives and the tactical landscape. The discussion is relentless, with every rumor fueling further speculation about the domino effect that could redefine the NFC for seasons to come. Off the field, the cultural and commercial implications are equally significant. Jefferson joining the Eagles would dominate sports media, social media, and merchandise sales, creating a frenzy that transcends the confines of football stadiums. Jersey sales, sponsorships, and media coverage would skyrocket, making this not just a football story but a cultural phenomenon. Analysts are speculating on the marketing opportunities for Philadelphia, from local fan engagement to national exposure, imagining packed stadiums, viral highlight reels, and a surge in social media conversations. For Minnesota, the narrative would shift toward rebuilding, strategic foresight, and managing fan disappointment, a balancing act between honoring the player's legacy and preparing for the future. The commercial stakes elevate the rumor to more than a potential tactical advantage. It becomes a multifaceted story encompassing economics, identity, and the intersection of sports and popular culture. Fans across the league are watching closely, debating the implications and projecting outcomes, transforming a single potential trade into a season-long storyline that could redefine both franchises in ways beyond the field. Finally, the broader NFL ecosystem would feel tremors from such a monumental trade. Rivalries would intensify, playoff projections would shift, and the league narrative could pivot around the Eagles' newfound offensive dynamism. Speculation abounds regarding how Jefferson's presence might influence the strategies of long-standing rivals, affect betting markets, and inspire future player movements. For fans, this rumor has already achieved the status of legend, with every highlight, touchdown, and media snippet dissected for clues. The potential move encapsulates the unpredictability and drama that makes the NFL compelling, blending talent, strategy, and narrative in a single, electrifying story. Whether or not the trade ultimately occurs, the speculation itself has reshaped conversations, elevated excitement, and reminded the football world why rumors, whispers, and blockbuster moves are an inseparable part of the game. As Howie Roseman's name circulates in connection with this potential coup, the league waits with bated breath. knowing that one strategic move could redefine history and set the stage for seasons of speculation, analysis, and unforgettable football moments. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.